Welcome back to Open Line. We are talking movies. We have with us the film critic from the Nashville Scene, Jason Shawhan, and influential. I said that at the top. What do you think, as far as influential movies, what stands out to you this year?
Oh, Get Out. Get Out is the most influential film of the year. I mean, it's not the biggest moneymaker, but as far as like something that comes out, like becomes an immediate national conversation. People who don't go see horror movies went to see this film. You know, people who don't go to see social issue films went to see this film. I mean, it was an absolute phenomenon, and because of that, you know, it was made for $6 million and made $300.
It made $300 million.
Yeah, like, so that's all, that right there, wow. That means that studios in the future are going to be like, yes, we want to make films with horror and social content.
Because it was hard to kind of pigeonhole what exactly the movie was. Yeah. Is it a comedy? Is it a horror movie? Is it, you know, what is it?
It's all these things. I mean, it's like modern life. It's a horror tragedy with farcical elements, and you never know if you can escape from what you find yourself in. I mean, there's a lot going on with it.
So let's take a look at the trailer. We'll watch this whole trailer, then we'll come back, talk a little bit more about it. But this is the trailer for Get Out.
You got your toothbrush?
Check.
Do you have your deodorant?
Check.
Do you have your cozy clothes?
Got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna, you know.
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
I ain't never seen you like this before, bruh. Meeting families and taking road trips. Don't come back all bougie, man. Come back, get your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
So you guys coming up from the city?
Yeah, we're just heading up for the weekend.
Can I see your license, please?
He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Call me Dean and hug me, my man.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go.
Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
I'm good, actually.
Are you ready for this?
I'm back in the beat.
So look, I go do my research. Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. But it's cool. Bro, how you not scared of this, man?
Good to see another brother around here.
Chris was just telling me how he felt much more comfortable with my being here. Get out.
Sorry, man.
Get out! Yo!
Rose, we gotta go.
Is everything okay?
Rose, the keys. Just get the keys.
I don't know where they are.
Rose?
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
Mine is a terrible thing to waste. Terrible thing to waste.
If there's too many white people, I get nervous.
No.
A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
See, that's creepy.
Oh yeah.
To me, that is really creepy. I saw it. I really liked that movie. Written by Jordan Peele. He's a comedian.
Yeah.
And there's, I guess, funny stuff in there, but it's pretty scary stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, well, it does a really amazing tonal balance of like pulling from all sorts of genres and making it into its own sort of unique thing. I think that's one of the reasons why it was such a phenomenon, was because there were aspects of it that anybody could enjoy.
And so it's nominated as a comedy in the Golden Globes.
Yes.
That was somewhat. People talked about that.
Yeah, and
what do you think about that?
Okay, the short version is the Hollywood Foreign Press is an amorphous group of people of very weird / interesting tastes who You know, I mean, they want to be part of the discussion, but it's just sort of like, I don't know. I don't know if I would categorize it as a comedy, but, you know, I don't believe in separating them out by genre. But just bouncing back real quick to what I said about influential, there's a coffee table book out now called Now You're in the Sunken Place it's just a compendium of artworks that have been inspired by Get Out. Painters, sculptors, all sorts of things. And it's amazing. And the film just came out in February. And it's already become this like touchstone of an American culture, and I think that's awesome.
And do you think it'll be nominated for Best Picture?
I don't know about Best Picture. It should. It absolutely should. But I know that there's going to be some sort of Oscar recognition for it. It's too smart. It's too well done, and it made too much money. Like, you can do 2 of those 3 things and get ignored. You can't do all 3 of those things and be ignored.
Okay, interesting. Phantom Thread. Let's talk about that movie. We'll kind of show it just kind of in the background here, but I don't know a lot about this movie. I've seen, I think, the preview for it. What is kind of the buzz on this movie?
It's the new film from Paul Thomas Anderson, and he's the youngest director who's become his own brand. Like, oh, he's got a new film out. That's a big deal. But it's supposedly it is Daniel Day-Lewis's last film as an actor.
He's going to retire.
Yeah, he's going to retire from acting after this, and he's a fashion designer in the 50s or possibly early 60s in the UK. You know, he lives this sort of like hermetic existence with his sister, who's his business manager, and he meets a young woman who captivates him, and he starts designing for her. And there's like weird, like Joseph Losey like twisted romantic things getting caught up in the procedure of like what it takes to make clothes. And I haven't seen it yet, and it's killing me. But it's coming here to Nashville the second week of January.
Okay, so that's supposed to be a really good
movie. It's supposed to be amazing. Everyone who's seen it says that it's great. The problem is it's just not that many people have seen it.
Another movie that's out right now, 3 Billboards. What is it? 3 Billboards.
3 Billboards
outside
of Ebbing, Missouri. Yes.
3 Billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. What do you think of this movie?
Okay. I think Frances McDormand is incredible in it. I think Woody Harrelson is incredible in it. I think Sam Rockwell is really, really uneven, which sometimes happens. Basically, the writer-director, Martin McDonagh, he did a film called In Bruges with Colin Farrell a few years back that's just great. He did The Guard, which was just wonderful. That was Brendan Gleeson. He did, what is the film? Calvary, which was also Brendan Gleeson as a priest. That was a couple years ago. This is unlike a lot of his other films. To me, like, I have some issues with this. There are some scenes that are just tonally all over the place, and just some dialogue that's a little tin-eared, but if I was watching a stage production of it with the exact same cast, I wouldn't have issues with any of it. It's like it's that he's structured this film the way that he structures his plays, and that you can get away with things on stage that you can't really get away with in film. It's still absolutely worth seeing, and the performances are great and or committed, but it's just got some issues. And but again, if you were watching them in a play, you could accept some of the weird choices it makes. But it's still absolutely worth seeing.
That movie is again nominated for Best Picture Drama in the Golden Globes. Do you think it will get nominated for an Academy Award?
It might. I mean, I'm sure it probably, in terms of the writing, it will. Maybe for Frances McDormand as well, just because, I mean, she is like one of the greatest actresses working today, and she delivers. Like, she's never not given 100% in a role.
Another movie nominated for Best Picture Drama. Again, we're talking about the Golden Globes right now. Just that's the place to start with these movies. Dunkirk. That came out over the summer.
Yes.
War movie came out over the summer.
It was a huge hit.
What did you think of that?
Here's the thing about Dunkirk. I like Christopher Nolan as a director. I don't love him. I'm not like a huge devotee of him as an auteur. I mean, like, he does interesting stuff. He works on a really wide canvas. And the thing about Dunkirk was that the 70 millimeter film version of it at the IMAX, that used the full 3-story tall thing. That was extraordinary. It was like this immersive experience, and it was structured so interestingly, you know, like where you had the troops on the ground that were operating at a certain amount of time, and then you had like the people on the boats, and that was like at an accelerated time from that, and then you had Tom Hardy in the plane, and that was even further excited. But it was like it was intercutting between the three time places. And it was absolutely captivating, even though it was leaping back and forth. Like, it's the kind of thing that, like, and this is, you know, as much as I talk about math in film analysis, but like you could make a graph of like what it was covering when it was, and it's absolutely fascinating. Like the structure of Dunkirk, I would love to see that for get some editing love. I mean, there's some great work went into it. It hasn't stayed with me as like, you know, a film I'm going to watch over and over again, but the gambit that it does and the way that it's structured and the canvas that it's told on, it's just like big, you know, like the giant 1.4 to 1 IMAX canvas. I mean, like, that's great.
It's epic. It's epic in scale. To me, the story wasn't what I kind of left feeling, boy, I wanted a little more. I was surprised it was nominated, but, you know, yeah, I guess it was one of the big movies. And I think it is a testament to the structure of it, which is surprising and different. I could have used a little more of a story. You know, but it's certainly. And I wonder, do you think that'll get nominated for an Academy Award?
I'm sure it'll get some attention, if nothing else, like for in the sound categories and the effects categories. But honestly, like the highest compliment that I can pay Dunkirk is that what it reminds me of is the Steven Soderbergh film Traffic. Because you know, like he won Best Director for it. People don't really talk about it as much anymore, but it's a definite footnote in contemporary cinema because it was the first one to like to intercut different stories by using different color palettes. Like, because of that, audiences like watched that, absorbed it, and now any movie can do that because it's part of the canvas that we understand. It's like how Pulp Fiction, when it came out, using the scrambled chronological timeline of that, how it would, you know, you would have stuff that was happening before it would have linearly, but after Pulp Fiction, everybody understood how to figure out timelines like that. So I feel like what Dunkirk, if nothing else, I think its legacy is going to be the way that it intercuts between three different speeds of time that are happening. I'm probably not doing as good a job as I'd like to.
I think you have to see the movie to fully understand what you're talking about. But it is interesting because there's one whole thing about a fight in an airplane, and another that obviously would take place over a few hours, and another thing that seems to be happening simultaneously that obviously takes place over, I guess, a few days.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting sort of thing.
Yeah, because like the troops on the ground is a week, and the boats are a day, and the plane is 1 hour, but they're intercutting back and forth, you know, because dramatically you accept it and go with it. And I feel like that's going to be the legacy of Dunkirk more than anything, that you're going to see a lot of like really temporally challenging films that seize on that and go with it.
Lucy has called and asked about Detroit, that movie.
Detroit.
So I guess explain a little bit about that movie, and she's wondering, is it going to be nominated? I don't see it on here for Golden Globe.
I don't know. No, the Hollywood Foreign Press would probably not even touch that one. Detroit, it's Catherine Bigelow, who won the only woman who's won the Best Director Oscar at the Oscars for The Hurt Locker. It's her film about the Detroit riots in it's 60s?
I feel like it's the 60s.
It's late 60s, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like, and it is immersive. It's an incredible achievement, and it is absolutely brutal.
It's really disturbing.
Yeah, it's not easy to watch.
No.
It's not a fun film, but it's an incredible achievement, and it is deeply relevant to how things are today. And I would love to see it get some recognition on the awards level, because not very many people saw it when it was in theaters, because it's like, you know, it's hard to say, you know, let's go out and like contemplate the inhumanity of people to their own flesh and blood, and it's intense.
Let's take a quick call. Justin, are you there?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I was wondering about Detroit and another movie, based on the story of Thurgood Marshall.
Yes, yeah,
See
Marshall.
that gain any type of awards recognition?
I think so. Marshall was an incredibly enjoyable film. Like, it was one of those that, like, it's a fascinating story, and the film, like, it's great performances, well told, and I feel like it sort of helps, like, a lot of people get sort of a visceral handle on that period in history. But I would love to see Marshall get some attention.
The name of that movie is Marshall.
Yeah, yeah.
And has it come out? Or
Yeah, it was out. I guess like sort of September-y, October-y.
Okay.
If that sounds right.
Okay.
The early fall, and it's around, and it's honestly it's one of those that even if it doesn't get the awards love, as soon as it hits one of the streaming services and people like when it's just there as an option, it's great. It's informative, and it's just really, really outstanding performances.
Okay, so we'll take a break. We'll come back, continue the discussion. Take a break, be back right after this.
Indeed.